This is a video walkthrough of problem 3-5B. Simon Cunningham earned $16.45 per hour at Transit Electronic. Here we will be computing his pay under both the 100th hour and the quarter hour systems. The company is considering switching from the quarter hour method to a 100th hour method. Simon has submitted the following time card. On day 1, came in at 8:08 a.m., left for lunch at 11:50 a.m., came back at 12:59 p.m., and left for the day at 4:57 p.m. On the second day, he came in at 9:04 a.m., left for lunch at 12:17 p.m., came back at 1:28 p.m., and left for the day at 5:18 p.m. On day 3, he came in at 7:45 a.m., left for lunch at 11:45 a.m., came back at 12:43 p.m., and left for the day at 4:01 p.m. On the final day, he came in at 7:57 a.m., left for lunch at 12:04 p.m., came back at 1:03 p.m., and left for the day at 5:06 p.m. When working with multiple times, as we do in a time card, it is easiest to switch to military time for calculations. We will also work the math from the out for the daytime backwards through the time they came in for the day. You will see what I mean in a moment. We're going to start with the quarter hour system. And under the quarter hour system, any time that is closer to the 15-minute interval than it is to the one before it gets rounded up, and any time that is less than halfway there gets rounded down. He left for the day at 4:57 p.m., which is close to 5 o'clock, and 5 o'clock in military time is 17. He came back from lunch at 12:59 p.m., which is really close to 1 p.m., which is 13 in military time. He left for lunch at 11:57, which is very close to 12 o'clock, so we will make that 12. He came in for the day at 8:08 a.m., and 8 is closer to 15, so that'll be 8.25, giving a total number of hours for the day of 7 3/4. On the second day, he left for the day at 5:18 p.m. 18 is closer to 15 than it is to 30, so that is 17.25. He came back from lunch at 1:28 p.m. 28 is closer to 30 than it is to 15, so that will be 13.5. He left for lunch at 12:17. 17 is closer to 15 than it is to 30, so that will be 12.25. And he came in for the day at 9:04 a.m. And 4 is closer to 0 than it is to 15, so we will have no minutes in that calculation, giving total number of hours for the day as 7. On day 3, Simon left for the day at 4:01 p.m., and 1 is closer to 0, so there will be no minutes. Came back from lunch at 12:43. 43 is closer to 45 than it is to 30, so that will be 12.75. Left for lunch at 11:45, that is exactly the quarter hour, and came in for the day at 7:45, which is also exactly the quarter hour, for total hours worked of 7.25. On the fourth day, Simon left for the day at 5:06 p.m. 6 is closer to 0 than it is to 15, so there is no minutes added. Came back from lunch at 1:03 p.m. 3 is closer to 0 than it is to 15, so there's no minutes here. Left for lunch at 12:04 p.m. 4 is closer to 0 than it is to 15. And came in for the day at 7:57, which is very close to 8 o'clock. So we will use 8 for total number of hours of 8. To calculate total pay under this, we will take the 16.45 he makes per hour and multiply that by the sum of the hours that he worked. That gives him total pay of $493.50 under quarter-hour system. Now we will repeat the process using the 100th-hour system. For the 100th-hour system, the minutes are divided by 60 in order to reach the fraction of the hour they represent. We will also be working from out to in, from the end of the day to the beginning. So we have 15 for 4 p.m. plus 57 divided by 60 for 4:57 p.m. We will subtract from that 12 minus 59 over 60 for 12:59 p.m. We will add the 11 plus the 57 over 60 for the 11:57, and we will subtract the 8 and the 8 over 60 for 8:08 a.m. for total number of hours on day 1 of 7.783. On the second day, we will have 17 plus 18 over 60 for 5:18 p.m. minus 13 minus 28 over 60 for 1:28 p.m. plus 12 plus 17 divided by 60 for 12:17 p.m. minus 9 minus 4 over 60 for 9:04 a.m. for total number of hours for the day of 7.05. On day 3, we have 16 plus 1 over 60 for 4:01 p.m. minus 12 minus 43 over 60 for 12:43 p.m. plus 11 plus 45 over 60 for 11:45 a.m. minus 7 minus 45 over 60 for 7:45 a.m. for a total number of hours for the third day of 7.3. On the final day, we have 17 plus 6 over 60 for 5:06 p.m. minus 13 minus 3 over 60 for 1:03 p.m. plus 12 plus 4 over 60 for 12:04 p.m. minus 7 minus 57 divided by 60 for 7:57 a.m. for a total number of hours of 8.16667. Again, we are going to figure out how much he has earned under the 100th hour system by taking his $16.45 per hour and multiplying it by the sum of the hours we have calculated. Under the 100th hour system, Simon has earned $498.44. What this analysis shows is that from Simon's perspective, he would earn more money under the 100th hour system than the quarter-hour system. From the company's perspective, they would end up with more payroll expenses under the 100th hour system because the pay would be higher.